And welcome to this week's edition of the Week in Tri. And the change of location today is simply because outside over there the wind is absolutely shunting and it's playing absolute complete havoc with my microphone in order to be able to record any sound whatsoever. All you'd be getting through the microphone out there is wind noise and nothing else. So without further ado, let's roll that intro and get stuck into this week's news. Under general news this week, we have two items, and both items are not entirely triathlon related, but there is some sort of vague round the corner type of connection there somewhere, so bear with me on these. The first is that the shoe company ASICS is in a global search at the moment for amateur runners to join its Beat the Sun challenge. So if you have a feeling that you have what it takes to be able to beat the sun, there's a link right over here in the video. Go to that link, ASICS I Beat the Sun, and have a look, log into that and have a look-see at what it all entails. Put your name down, and you never know, you might be able, on summer solstice, 21st of June, you might be out at Mont Blanc as part of one of the 8 relay teams, racing the 150 kilometers around Mont Blanc, starting at sunrise and aiming to your relay to finish before sunset, which is about 15 hours, 41 minutes or so. So, I Beat the Sun. Do yourself a favor and check it out. The other piece of general news is that the world has gotten into an absolute frenzy over the course of the last couple of days, because Lance Armstrong is running an untimed trail training event this coming weekend. There's no prize money, there's no podium, just a bunch of runners out enjoying nature. And that's as if ultra trail running has got a squeaky clean record of its own account. But be that as it may, and then there's also rumor that he might be pacing one of his friends at the Western States in June. However, the organizers have emphatically said that Lance is not allowed to race the event. He's not allowed to enter the event and race the event in order to qualify for prize money and podiums and such like, but there's no regulation preventing him from pacing a friend who's officially entered in the race. So who knows, we'll have to see how that plans itself out. But those are our two items of general news this week. First of our four modalities for this week is Ironman. And under Ironman we've got some news there, and that is that Jimmy Riccitello, the former exterior world champion and current Ironman Head Referee, has made a statement explaining the biggest changes to the rules and regulations for 2016. The main change, and this is specifically for age group athletes, so if you're an age group athlete looking to race Ironman 70.3 or full distance Ironman, or even the 5150 event, this rule is of vital importance to you, and that is that the drafting regulations have changed for age groupers. The draft zone for age groupers has been increased from 10 meters to 12 meters, measured front wheel to front wheel. This means that you need to have at least 6 full bike lengths between the front of your bike and the back of the bike in front of you. 6 full bike lengths, you're looking at 12 meters front wheel to front wheel as the drafting regulations. Obviously, as a spin-off from that rule change, there's been a rule change as far as overtaking, as far as passing is concerned. Previously, you had to make an overtaking maneuver within 20 seconds of moving into the drafting zone. Now they've given you an extra 5 seconds. You have to have completed your overtaking maneuver within 25 seconds of moving into the drafting area. That's to compensate for that extra 2 meters within the draft zone. And that's the main rule change that you need to bear in mind. Obviously, there have been other rule changes, so it will be in your best interest to read through those rules and make sure that you are up to date with what's happening. But the biggest one is the draft zone for age groupers. It was 10, not 12. I've got no idea how they're going to be able to make that work in the vast number of Ironman 70.3 events where there are just so many athletes, too many athletes to fit on the road at the same time, but we'll have to see how Ironman is able to solve that conundrum. Last weekend in Ironman was the Ironman Geelong in Victoria, Australia on the 7th of February. Melissa Hauschnitt from Australia picked up the ladies' title, while Jake Montgomery, also from Australia, won the men's. This week in Ironman, there are absolutely 0 Ironman events on the calendar for this weekend. Now for news from the Challenge family. It's been confirmed that Frodeno, barring injury or crashes or anything like that, will be lining up for Challenge Roth this year, and it's been confirmed that he'll be going for the world record at Challenge Roth this year. It remains to be seen whether shooting for the world record and how deep he'll need to dig during the course of Challenge Roth, how that's going to impact on the remainder of the season, bearing in mind he's looking at defending his Kona World Championship title, as well as being in line to pick up the $1 million paycheck for winning the Triple Crown. But in order to be able to pick up the Triple Crown, he needs to defend his title at Kona. So we'll have to wait and see what effect the going for the world record at Roth will have on his ability to be able to recover and peak again for Kona come October. As far as Challenge Family events are concerned, there were 0 Challenge Family events last weekend, and there are 0 Challenge Family events this weekend. Now on to Xterra news. The world of Xterra has finally woken up for 2016. However, there's still no news from Xterra to be able to report, but they had their first World Tour event last weekend. Last weekend in the world of Xterra, on Sunday the 7th of February, was Xterra Philippines. And we had Bradley Weiss of South Africa picking up the men's title, while Lizzie Orchard of New Zealand won the ladies. As far as this coming weekend in Xterra is concerned, there are 0 Xterra events this coming weekend. Now onto the ITU. There is one item of news from the ITU, and I'm amazed at these type of news items that are coming through, bearing in mind that we're in an Olympic year with athletes and everybody gearing up for the Olympic Games. I'm expecting to see some sort of reports through about what Brazil's doing as far as the water pollution. Will they be able to be a swim? Are all the athletes going to be getting sick as a result of the water pollution? None of that type of news is coming through. The only piece of news coming through from the ITU is that in Venezuela they'll be having a level 1 coaching course. And that's it as far as ITU news is concerned. Last weekend there were 0 ITU events to report on, so there's nothing to report on as far as that's concerned. This coming weekend in the world of the ITU, we have a whole clutch of events taking place. Bearing in mind, we've got no Ironman, we've got no Challenge, we've got no Xterra this week, and ITU is making up for it in spades. Let me go through the list of events that are all penned down. For all of these events are scheduled to be taking place on Sunday the 14th of February on Valentine's Day. The first is an American Sprint Distance Cup, and that's taking place in Havana, Cuba. Also in Havana, Cuba on Valentine's Day is going to be an American Middle Distance Cup. Then number 3 on the list is the Winter Triathlon World Championship in Zeltweg in Austria. That's item number 3. The South Asia Games in Guwahati in India. That's item number 4 on the ITU's list, and item number 5 on the ITU's list is an Oceania Sprint Distance Cup, and that's in Kinloch, New Zealand. So 5 items scheduled for this weekend on the ITU's calendar, and I'll be able to bring you report backs on what transpires in all 5 of those events in next week's edition of the Week in Triathlon. That brings us to the end of this week's edition of the Week in Triathlon. Be sure to stay subscribed to my channel for all the editions of the Week in Triathlon that come out on a week-to-week basis every single Friday, barring technical incidents like what I had last week. Every single Friday there'll be a Week in Triathlon coming out for you, and also day to day between Friday and Friday on this exact same channel. There'll be athlete questions answered and all other types of triathlon and endurance sport news items as they happen. So that will be happening on a daily basis, weekend triathlon once a week. So stay subscribed to the channel to be able to follow up, to be able to get those news clips and videos as they come out on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis. Remember, share this out amongst your friends. Give me a thumbs up if you like this type of content. And also, give me a thumbs up if you like this type of setting where I'm recording the video at the moment. Is it helping the audio? If so, give me a thumbs up there as well. And remember, share this out amongst your friends and stay carved up for the win. I'll be seeing you next time. Cheers.
CoachEdu.net